Now let's welcome in Joe Brusuelas, Chief Economist over at RSM. Joe, we're looking at everything that's been happening. First of all, new highs across the board. I know we've since pulled back because people are not sure about the stimulus, but the jobless claims is something that's been on your radar. And while people are optimistic about the new year, I don't know how optimistic they are necessarily about jobs. Tell me about that.
Well, the labor market is going to have some long-term scarring caused by the pandemic. What you are seeing is, as we enter the third wave of the pandemic, which is clearly the worst portion of it, you see individuals who primarily work for small business. This is Main Street that's hurting right now. And so it's in leisure and hospitality, food and beverage, transportation, retail, that really are bearing the brunt of the job losses. And as you're looking at that really cool graph, which we appreciate you using, you see the top line has moved above the 13-week average. That tells me that we are going to continue to see these losses. Now, market selling off right now on policy concerns. You know, when you're looking at this, I really don't know what they're thinking up there on Capitol Hill, why they want to end the 13.3 lending and loan liquidity programs by the Federal Reserve. That's not what you want to do. You don't want to take out support under the market right now. And because we know the next 3 months are just going to be very difficult economically, even if we know there's a vaccine coming and we're going to boom in the second half of next year.
I was just looking at the numbers. Above 3,000 for the third straight day, the daily death toll. When you're mentioning vaccines. So the COVID-19 death toll slipped ever so slightly. I'm glad to report that, but it's still above the 3,000. Now with Moderna, they've gotten the next step to really getting close to the emergency use authorization. That's a big deal. Pfizer's already distributing everything now. How does all of this affect the economic growth? I know you have a chart of U.S. actual and potential GDP as we saw Vice President Pence getting the vaccination. Fauci says coming through by the first half of the year, right? A lot of people will be vaccinated.
All right, so there's still a pretty large output gap. That is the gap between actual GDP and potential GDP. Now, I think with the arrival of that vaccine and the unlocking of 20% of the economy that's impaired, that's 20% of a $21 trillion economy. As that's unlocked, late second quarter into the second half of next year, you're going to see a boom. You're going to see that gap close probably by the first quarter of 2022. And you're going to see growth rates like you haven't seen since the late 1990s. I'm actually fairly bullish on the aftermath of the distribution of the vaccine. You know, I'm like everyone else out there. I'm itching to get back out there into the economy, talk to people, see what's happening, right? It's a very difficult situation we're all in. And, you know, we've all known people who've been infected. Indeed, a member of my family died yesterday because of COVID-related
I'm so sorry,
concerns.
Joe Brusuelas. I'm so sorry to hear that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It's one of these things that we're all going to have to manage through. And you know, Nicole, one of the things I've always appreciated as we've talked over this past year is you never once flinched when I said, look, the first rule of pandemic economics is no vaccine, no recovery. Well, we've turned the corner there. Vaccine showed up a little late for some, but we're all going to get those shots, I hope. And once we do, you're going to see the economy move. And you know, and you look at the market, right? Today's quadruple witching day. Tesla's causing a little bit of problems as it enters the S&P. But look, it's a good forward-looking discount mechanism. It's telling you that, hey, we're going to come out of this finally. And things are just going to start looking better late spring into early summer. And hell, I look forward to being back in the studio in New York with you,
right
around the corner from our office.
Oh, me too. Me too. So let me pick your brain a little bit about 2021. So you have this boom scenario, which goes into 2022, which seems excellent as people get vaccinated, feel better, and back to work, and the economy reopens. What about everything else? I mean, housing seems like a given. Seems pretty great. Lennar's giving great outlook. Put that one aside instead of, you know, telling me what I may already know. I'm more interested in the things that maybe all of us don't know that you're the pro. I'm thinking globally, trade, China, taxes, jobs, I mean, you know, inflation. What would you advise to folks? Should they be saving their money? What should they be doing?
Okay, one, this is the time when you want to put money on the table when it looks like we're entering a dark winter. One of the things that I'm absolutely convinced will be one of the big narratives in 2021 is going to be the reemergence of globalization and trade. The incoming Biden administration intends to mend fences with our major trading partners, Mexico and Canada, UK and Europe, Japan, South Korea, and the Australians. Just think about what's going to happen here in North America. I think many people out there don't know the borders are effectively closed. You only get minimal commerce moving across the borders these days from Canada and the US, Mexico and the US, and back and forth. As we get the vaccines delivered, those borders are going to be reopened. Commerce is going to start moving again. You know, we have a North American integrated manufacturing supply chain, right? The parts that go into the automobiles, they move across the border 6-7 times. As that reopens, you're going to see the growth channel really look much stronger because of the activity in global trade. That's just one thing. I think the next thing is you really want to watch how firms institutionalize working from home. You know, the big theme I have next year is it's technology, telecommuting, and automation. A lot of the challenges are the things that were going to occur, say, 5 or 10 years out, they're going to happen now. A lot of those trends are being accelerated and pulled forward. I mean, I'm sitting here talking to you on this really neat high-def camera on a great platform called Skype. And you know what? I don't see why my company should ever spend a penny on a big, fat corner office in Times Square, right? They shouldn't, and they're not going to. I've urged them to not. I don't need the office. We can work from anywhere now. The revolution is going to happen, and it's going to start next year. I'm very excited about the changes that are going to occur, even if there are some challenges, say, with commercial real estate.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I see what you're saying, and it's going to be one step at a time, but you used words like technology and automation, and we've gotten sort of ahead of ourselves. We went forward a decade. We got really good at a lot of things really fast because we had to. And in many ways, it will help our companies and maybe even save them some money. Joe Brusuelas.
That's right. Think about it this way.
And again,
we've conducted a huge experiment, and everything that can be done remotely is going to make our companies more efficient and cause their share prices to rise. These are good things.
Yeah, yeah. Joe, it's always nice to have you on the show. Thank you so much. And again, we're sorry for your loss. I wanted to acknowledge that. Joe Brusuelas, Chief Economist, RSM. Thanks for being here today.